This podcast is made possible by supporters like you. Mahalo. And by Atlas Insurance Agency, Hawaii's largest professional agency, helping Hawaii navigate insurance solutions since 1929. More at atlasinsurance.com.
Aloha mai kako. Welcome to a new episode of What's Go You Went? Start every conversation with that question. I'm Ron Mizutani, and today we're telling the story, or talking story and telling the story about some of the most respected and powerful people in our community, in your community. If you were to look up the word kahuna, you would find several definitions. Most include the following information. In traditional Hawaiian society, a person with specialized knowledge of ritual, agriculture, navigation, and sorcery. However, there is so much more to a kahuna, so much more. Master storyteller Lopaka Kapanui recognized this, and he needed to educate the world. He and his wife Tanya recently released their newest book titled Kahuna. I want to welcome back my dear friend Lopaka to PBS Hawaii. Welcome back, brother.
Aloha, good
to
morning.
have you back.
Always good to be here.
We all know Waipahu Zone. Waipahu High School. So we'll skip the What's Go You Went, but I know that you wear your pride on your sleeve when it comes to the Marauders. You know, Lopaka, thank you for allowing me to talk story with you about this. This is your first project in this manner. Yeah, I mean, tell me about what finally made you say, we go.
This was actually in the works for almost 12 years, but life kept happening here and there. And what motivated this book was about 12 years ago, I was at the Zippies off Young Street, Baratania, the one across from Golden Duck.
Golden Duck.
And I was in that big side room having lunch by myself, and all of a sudden there's this long empty table on the other side of the room, and all of a sudden in walks these bradas, like 6'8", 6'9", like big bradas, nice polo shirt, jeans. And as I'm looking at them, I realized, these all the guys that work at the docks. It's probably all the stevedores. Huge guys. And they all sit down, and they're all talking. They never order their food yet. And then in comes Art Rutledge. And the second Art comes into the room, they all stand up. And they're like small boys in front of this man, like,
yes.
And I looked at that. I was like, it clicked in my head. And I thought to myself, what if these are all kahuna, and this is the meeting? Mm-hmm. And so I actually called over the waitress. I said, if they're having a meeting, I can leave. And she said, no, it's fine. And then Art looked at me like this. He goes, I was like, oh. So that was the basis.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Art Rutledge, longtime union leader, very, very powerful man. And you say this may have been a meeting.
Yeah.
It takes me right into the book, brother. I just like visualize that, Tiny and Ivan. But what made you think that? And then I will start getting into a little bit deeper about kahuna, because there's so much misconception. Yeah. Hollywood really portrays kahuna in a very inaccurate way, and media as well. And I could call ourselves the media as well. Defines kahuna in a way that's not correct. But what made you think that meeting was something that you wanted to respect?
I thought to myself, if those kinds of kahuna existed today in our society and they're still practicing their art, who would they be? What would they look like? And so I thought to myself, what if these guys are in this nice office, and coat and tie, like really well-dressed Hawaiians, and it's a place where you go, to have your problem solved. But come to find out, depending on your case and your reason, these guys are kahuna, and they help you curse somebody, or they help work the problem out, so you have to curse the person, and it all just came.
And that's when you said, and your sister, from what I understand, your sister also said, Lopaka, go. You finish this with Tanya.
Yes, and she didn't say that as nicely. It's more like, bro, what the hell? Hurry up already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about kahuna, because Hollywood Kevin Spacey, Danny DeVito, the Big Kahuna,
Yeah.
all these movies that have, even the Shaquille O'Neal calls himself the Big Kahuna sometimes and drives me nuts. But marketing experts, they recognize this is an opportunity. But this book sets the record straight, and it's fictional or not fictional. It depends how you read it, how much knowledge you have. But tell us more about Kahuna in ancient Hawaiian times and today's times, because they exist today, very much so.
So essentially a kahuna is someone who's mastered a craft, and the learning is a lifetime of learning. And so, like you were saying earlier, there was kahuna of celestial navigation, ethnobotany, biology, all those things. But, as we know, because of Hollywood, the kahuna that everybody knows is, the guy who put curses on people. So I remember first seeing that movie, Bird of Paradise, as a small boy, Louis Jardin, Jeff Chandler, Deborah Paget. And I found out the kahuna guy was not even Hawaiian. He was an Italian guy. But, that's what scared me the most about the whole movie. He was just like so scary. Everybody did what he said. And, they had to make, Kalua jump into the volcano. Mm-hmm. But then my mom started talking to me more about what kahuna actually are. I found out, it's not so much the scary people. It's people who have to shoulder this responsibility, And even today, we still have kahuna la'au lapa'au, Raria Kau, the kahu of Moanalua Valley, one of the last students of Papa'awai. That guy is a kahuna. You meet him, you can tell. But then, people tell me, well, master storyteller, you're a kahuna too. But when I hear that, I'm like, oh no, it's not so much something you have to earn, but when a title like that is given to you, you have to be ready to accept it, and all the kuleana that comes with it. Mm-hmm. And so those kinds of kahuna are still around today. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people call me, random calls. So, aloha, Mysteries of Hawaii. Oh, you know what? It's been 2 weeks at the office. She went bump into me at the water cooler. She still never says sorry. You can help me curse her. Put one curse on her because, 2 weeks already. Still never say sorry. Petty stuff like that.
Gosh, I have so much on my mind right now. As I've read your book, Lopaka, and congratulations to you and Tanya. It's such a well written, historically accurate. Even the place, locations, and everything that you describe beautifully, and you and she describe beautifully, really is authentic, and I love that about it. The olelo in it as well, the Hawaiian language. You take the time to explain, but also it's important part of the story because it adds to the credibility of it all and who you are. Because when you said people think you kahuna, you have a gift. There's no doubt about that. I feel you, and you know how I feel about my responsibility that I have on my generation in our family. I'm not kahuna by any means, but I feel. Mm-hmm. And so when I read your book, I was feeling this throughout the entire time. And there was times when I had to put it down because I felt like, do I have permission to read this? Even this being a, however you want to define it, it's very real to me because I've learned so much when I was a young man, and to this day I know they exist. You call them offices. Some people define it differently. Every community may have one. How does that work? I mean, back in old Hawaiian times, where did kahuna come from? Were you born into it? You talk about being trained, but not every family recognizes or knew if they were a part of that lineage. Is that the right word?
In her writing, Mary Kavenapuku'i said a lot of times, a particular child was observed very closely. And if it was determined that this child had this, this talent or this gift, then they were given to the kahuna, and that's how the training would start. And, she said it's a lifetime of training, basically. Other times, the the kahuna himself or herself chooses the person. So all the situations are different. And of course, in this book, there's those newspaper articles about kahunaism.
Right.
And so that one article about the woman who was a legitimate la'au, but because of, technicalities, red tape, she couldn't read Latin, and, they wouldn't give her a license. And when I read that newspaper article, I was like, I'm surprised, like, there's no follow-up. Like, what happened to these people who were purposely making it so that nobody could get a license? No kahuna could practice.
People know, if you're connected, you know how to reach one.
Yeah.
Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah. And those who are responsible, understanding the kuleana, they know what is right and wrong.
Absolutely.
And what is pono and what is not.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to curse. Not to freak anybody out, but are there those out there who abuse or misuse their abilities?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It is scary.
Because it still exists even today.
And a lot of it is from ego. Just they get so much business coming to them, and once money is given to them, it goes straight to their head.
Because with money comes power,
Yeah.
or the thought of power,
The perceived power.
perceived power.
Yeah.
It's the biggest evil of them all. So in your marketing of this book, it says Kahuna, the story, right? If you could put a curse on someone, would you? Hey, you ask that question to just anybody.
Yeah.
Hawaiian, non-Hawaiian, Portuguese, Italian. You would have to give that some serious thought. Are you that angry, hateful? I mean, I can think of times when I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But to put a curse on someone and know that you are doing that to someone, that's a heavy question if you really think about it.
Yeah.
That's the premise of the book.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to put a curse on someone, would you?
Right.
Right? You think people contemplate that?
I cannot mention his name, but last month, one of the guys who invented Xbox was on one of my tours, and
Wow.
after the tour is over, he said, he goes, just a general question. He goes, you don't have to answer. I was like, okay. He goes, there's someone in my circle, that I'm not too happy about. Like, if I wanted to curse him, like, how would I go about it?
Wow.
And I told him, I can understand whatever your reason is, but I told him, I said, in the end, it's not worth it. Because you're going to pay with more than just money, for what you do. He goes, even if I'm in the right? I said, even if you're in the right, the method of what you're asking for has repercussions. And so I said, even though this is something spiritual, it's kind of like the mafia. If it doesn't get you, it'll get to your family.
One way or the other.
One way or the other.
One way or the other. So the book is about a young, chosen one, I say, Hanson boy, Napua Lava.
Yeah.
Who's Hanson to you?
Who's Hanson?
Yeah. It gotta be somebody in your life. or is it?
He's one of those rare few men, who still have that old school sense of honor, and doing what's right. So in this capacity, in his job as, the head of the office, he's shouldering so much responsibility. And so a lot of times when he's faced with these dilemmas about, do I do this, or do I not do it? And so that's why he's got his uncles, Ivan and Tiny, and then his Auntie Rita. So they're the ones who counsel him, and sometimes he ends up having to counsel them.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's obvious, and there's 4 more coming.
I get the sense that this is not POW. Yeah, I felt that. I'm almost POW. I'm not going to full transparency.
Yeah.
I've taken longer than I thought I would. I mean, the first book that I helped you write forward for,
Yeah.
I was done in hours. This one, I'm finding myself doing it in chunks. Again, just for a feeling of respect. I don't know why, but sometimes I'm told, put it down.
Yeah.
Because I could sit here and just bang. I would. But there's parts of me that are trying to absorb each story because you take us on this wonderful journey And I don't want to give it away just in case folks have not had the opportunity to read. By the way, where can folks find Kahuna?
On Amazon. Yeah.
Amazon. You've done signing tour?
We're working that out right
Still
now.
working that out now. This could be a movie. Could easily be a movie
There's a screenplay out there right now.
already.
Yeah.
See, I guaranteed. And you know what? Kanakama Ole, I hope, are very much a part of this. If there is a movie, I know that if you have a voice and Tanya has a voice, you make sure that it's authentic and as true as possible.
Yeah. I mean, like I, jokingly said earlier, like it's an all Hawaiian cast, but, there's other,
Sure.
because we grew up in Hawaii, so there's, every person, ethnicity is,
Yeah.
part of the project. But yeah, friends of ours have helped us adapt it to a screenplay, so it's out there right now.
Wow.
Being pitched to all the networks and streaming networks.
Well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody with responsible heart will answer the call because they're out there. And there are others who would just run with this for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, because it is, I don't want to say this because Kyoku would say, get mad, not sexy, but it is a very, the topic is very Hollywood,
Yeah.
Hollywood friendly if you make it, and it can be abusive if misused. Okay, without getting in too much, again, because I want to respect folks who haven't had the opportunity, Boy's mom and dad
Yeah.
trained him and they recognized early in life that he was gifted.
Yeah.
And they started to see just how powerful he was. Is that usual the case that Kahuna will be trained by his or her own parents?
Not usually, not in this case, but, these are special circumstances which, when you read the book, you find out, when the time comes for him to fulfill his kuleana, like, the mom is not ready for it.
Yeah.
Because of the way it happened.
Yes.
It's just all happening so fast. But in Lua, in the practice of Lua, when, they say there's a point where in the heat of battle you become possessed by Ku'ialua, the god of bone breaking. And so, in that one scene, that's sort of what happens, with Boy. And they realize, wow, we got we got to bring this in.
Because he was a young teenager at the time in the book, right? When he recognized, or that part of his training
Yeah.
nearly killed mom and dad.
Yeah. And they realized they had more than a prodigy.
Yeah.
So if they didn't rein that in, like he would just, he'd go wild.
And some people in the book chose a different path.
Yes.
I'll keep it at that. Again, not to ruin the plot because I hate. It's like the butler did it. In this case,
Well, I got text messages too. What?
Yeah.
Brah, what?
yes, it's like twists and turns. It is absolutely it's things that you think you're going to anticipate what's going to happen next, and then oh shucks, that didn't happen, or oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll just say this: the scene that you describe, the three older elders, the kupuna who sip coffee all day. I can see that. I can see that totally happening at a McDonald's where, kupuna sitting there, not saying a word. And, gosh, I don't want to give it away. But just the fact that the way you described them and the fact that they had this powers, I believe in your local areas, you probably have kupuna who sit there all day long talking story to themselves without saying a word.
Yeah.
And they have powers that, that maybe we don't even understand or know.
Well, those three characters are actually based on in Waipahu. They used to be the old diners, and
Know it well.
yeah, and every morning go over there, soda, snack, whatever. Every afternoon after school, cheeseburger, French fries. I remember seeing three old Hawaiian men sitting there all day, and they never said anything. And what I noticed is, a lot of the wild troublemaker kids would go to that diners, but they would never bother those three guys.
That's right.
And sometimes when they accidentally, bump into them or pass, oh, sorry, Papa.
Even the biggest punks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Never bother those three guys. It's like, who the hell are those guys?
Right.
So putting this together, it's like,
One was Murphy.
yeah, they all get these
all
holly
have-
names, but
yeah.
you don't realize that these are,
Good stuff, man. Absolutely good stuff. And like you said, different ethnicities. And I can only imagine, you know, what's going on in your head. I mean, the creativity in there, but really tapping into memories of friends, people you knew. And that's part of storytelling, right? Is being able to take real life situations and then making them a part of the story.
Well, that's why I felt sorry for my wife, because, you know, her job was editing and putting everything together. And her desk is behind me, and sometimes I'm working on part 2 or 3 and 4. All of a sudden, behind me, she's like, "Are you serious?" And she turns around and she goes, "This is really well written." She goes, "But you're killing me."
What's that like, working with your wife on a project like this? And really, you guys have to be on the same page in some ways. Her knowledge is obviously, she's a very incredible editor as well.
Yeah.
But she also, because fact is so important to you, and history and being accurate, what's that like to work with? What's the dynamics like?
Her passion is, you know, very, I don't have the word for it, but it's very infectious, because, you know, she cares about the subject and she deeply researches everything. So when she comes across these articles where, you know, Hawaiian people in the 1800s, the 1900s, local people, you know, being mistreated or not having an opportunity because of the powers that be, she lets loose with all those special words.
Hey, I know that it's not in the glossary, is it? No, those words. Because I think, by the way, thank you for your glossary as well, because it is a like a dictionary, and the words, you know, you're not shy. You use many Hawaiian words with all, you know, kahakos and okinas in the right spots, because that's part of who you are as a storyteller. Yeah. And more genuine authenticity to your book. That itself is a beast to make sure you get correct.
Well, what's also going to be a beast is eventually we realize we're going to have to reprint all 5 volumes in Hawaiian. You know.
Wow.
So that's going to be another one.
Well, when you get closed captioning, at least you're halfway there with what you have done here.
And the audiobook.
You can do an audiobook too?
Yeah.
Well, you have the perfect voice for that. But, you know, we have a couple of staff members who just, you know, really appreciate what you do and believe in what you do. They're just waiting for you to have your actual signing. And you met Jody Shiroma. She's ready to be in your movie. So anytime you're ready, we have quite a few people in here who have desire to be a part of your projects. This is a story, and I'm reading this, but this is a story about ohana. It's about kuleana and kahana kupono, doing the right thing. Hansen boy Napua lava, and the history and the tragedy that brought him to where he is today. This is Kahuna. I love that. Because right in that just one sentence paragraph, you talk about so many values of who we are as people, but if someone is kahuna, the added responsibility that comes with that is huge. Talk about shouldering a load, because greed, money, power can get in the way, right? All the sins that are very real in life. I felt Boy was real, because in my eyes, he is real.
Yeah.
In your eyes as well?
Yeah. You know, he's, you know, and I'm speaking for myself, but, you know, to me, he's what every man is supposed to be. You know, so much responsibility, but always right in the right space to do the right thing at the right time. But he's also very tortured, you know, because of the tragedy in his life. And a lot of women, you know, email, they text, they're like, "How come he doesn't have a girlfriend?"
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know, consider where he's at.
Yeah.
You know.
The love interest comes in part 3 or 2. I won't guess. I don't want to guess.
Later on.
Yeah. He has work to do.
Yeah.
Got plenty of work to do.
What was your favorite character? You know.
Victoria. I saw qualities. Victoria is his mom.
Yeah.
And, well, my mom is my hero. And you know, sacrificed much of her life being a single parent for my sister and I. Mm-hmm. But just some of the qualities that you describe her having. My mom is not nearly, not anywhere in tune with that self part of her. But I saw my mom in some of the things that you described. So Victoria was my heroine in the book and my favorite character. What about you? Who do you see yourself in there?
Oh,
Or do you?
it's in there.
Yeah.
It's in there. But, Victoria too. I mean, Kahi's like based off, every Hawaiian guy that had to,
Yep.
do for his family.
Kahi is Boy's dad
Boy's
and
dad.
Victoria's husband.
So his whole name is Kahi Uka. So Kahi Uka is the brother of Ka'ahupahau, the shark goddess. So Kahi Uka is like the smiting tail. He can kill with just the whack of his tail. So Kahi Uka, the person, is that kind of guy. Just strong as an ox, but has no proclivity or understanding of, girlfriends, stuff like that. He's just,
Yeah.
But Victoria, she's as you know, when you make her mad, it's over.
It's over.
She's
Yeah.
wicked.
Yeah. I know plenty like that. Yeah. I think I know who you are, but I'm not going to put you in an uncomfortable position. I think I know who you are because of the man that you are. I'm going to just say I think you're Kahi in here, but you don't have to answer.
Yeah.
I want to skip. You know how you like skip to the end of the book? I'm on page 200 and I think 36.
Oh.
And the book is 325.
What part is that right now?
Right now we you just had the brother the Scott and Dane Ahers are heading down headed south on Daytona. The brothers who had asked to put a curse on someone and boy, I don't want to get away. Yeah, but that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, oh my gosh, this is an exciting part. I cannot wait to read it. But at the end of the day, what is it that you hope this does? What's your goal?
The whole point of the series is for people who are not from Hawaii to see us as, everyday people living our lives. But in this book, it just so happens these people are Kahuna and they have these lives. And still today, people have us pigeonholed as, the luau and all this stuff. There's still that going on, and that's why friends of mine in the industry told me the reason producers don't want to have like a paranormal show based in Hawaii is because they cannot perceive Hawaii as being haunted, because of the way Hawaii's been sold all these years. So I figured if I can do some small part in taking us out of this box and showing the world, we're regular everyday people like everybody else. We have lives, we have purpose, but in this fictional account, these people just happen to be Kahuna who have this office. The office is based on Glenn Grant's old store.
Share with me.
Yeah. Upstairs, Glenn had his office. And I remember the first time stepping into that office and just, everything that was in that building before just came through. And I remember it's like, oh, man, this place is magic. Just everything about it. Bookshelves from, floor to ceiling, straight out of a movie. So, when this book started coming to life, that's what the office was based on.
Nice. Very nice. There's so much of you in this book, and again, even the names that you chose for the characters, carefully selected, correct? Mm-hmm. They have meaning.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And my wife asked me, why are they all wearing suits and, why have to dress like that?
Right.
So I told her two things. I remember 2009 in my long sleeve surf shirt and shorts and slippers going Bank of Hawaii to cash a check, and it took 1 hour. They made me wait 1 hour.
Because of your attire.
And they said, we don't know if the check is for real or not.
Shame.
And so instead of saying, we're sorry, they said to me, next time, do it the right way. So I came in the next day with another check, But, I was on a way to do this storytelling thing, so I was wearing coat and tie. Completely different treatment.
Sad, though.
Was done in 10 minutes. And I called the bank manager over. I said, I was here yesterday, but I wasn't dressed like this, but I was made to wait an hour. She goes, were you? I said, yeah, and you were the one that was waiting on me. She goes, was I? Yeah.
That's why when I was a news anchor, I would wear a suit and tie because I had to. Shorts and slippers every day. Even the late Robert Kekala, slippers. Could be 40 degrees under in Cleveland, brother wore slippers because that's who we were. Right. Shame on that, Wahine. But that too exists, right?
But
stereotyping and
also during wrestling, the booker, the guy who booked all the matches, would tell all of us before you arrive, coat and tie. Suit up, go wrestle your match, take a shower. And when you leave, he said, coat and tie. So it doesn't matter if you're the face or the heel, coat and tie. So people have this perception of you,
Hey.
So that's kind of been ingrained.
Yeah, when in Rome.
Yeah.
When in Rome. Again, not to make light of the subject, but to add levity to the topic. I thought of just now Andy Bumatai when he did All in the Ohana.
Yeah.
Right. One of his characters was Tutu. Right? And Tutu would always say what?
Yeah.
The
Kahuna.
going to take care of us. Not going to curse you. It's going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And that, to me, says a lot about who we understand Kahuna are, and not what Hollywood portrays it to be. You better respect, or you will feel his or her wrath. And Kahuna is men and women, correct?
Men and women. My mom, when she was teaching me, she said, you can tell who those people are because they have this wild look in their eye. They almost look like, she said they're pupule, but that's because of, their training and the life they lead. There's just this intense stare that they have. She goes, you'll know who they are.
Sound like my ex-wife. Hey, take it easy. Which one? No, it's delete. Hey, guys, go pick up the book Kahuna on Amazon.
Yeah.
By Lopaka and Tanya Kapanui. It is a great one. Movie on its way, hopefully. But at the end of the day, it's all about education, which is who you are, my friend. And I respect that immensely about you.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations. Outstanding.
What stands out in that book is the fact that the Office of Kahuna do not handle marital affairs and divorce.
Amen. They have attorneys to do that. They charge a retainer fee, but
absolutely,
that's what I was told. Anyway, hey, mahalo for stopping by, brother.
Thank you.
All right, really appreciate it. Congratulations again, Kahuna. Go check it out. It's a good one. It's a good one, and you will not be disappointed. Mahalo nui for joining us, folks. Join us next week, another episode of What School You Went. Until then, ahuyo.
What School You Went is a PBS Hawaii production. Music by Taimane Gardner. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and tell your friends. You can find us on pbshawaii.org and everywhere you get your podcasts.